Hi, this is George Gillis, and you're listening to 12 Mindset Tips for Improved Performance. Tip number 2. Behavior and change are to be evaluated in terms of context and ecology. All right, now this sounds like it could be really confusing, but we want to talk about changes and whether or not they're going to be effective, whether or not they're going to be long-lasting. Now you can think in terms of personal change, you can think in terms of trying to modify someone else's behaviors, you can think in terms of sales, and you'll find that these fundamental truths go all the way through all aspects. So when you're thinking in terms of making a change, whether it's for yourself or for a company because you're selling them something, the ecology check basically says, is the change that you're making good for your future? Is it good for your family? Is it good for your company or for your business? Is it good for your clients, your customers? Is it good for your community? Is it good for the economy? Is it good for the country? Is it good for the world? And on and on. I mean, you could take this and chunk it up, is it good for existence? But the idea here is to think in terms of the ecological impact of the change that you're making. Is it good for you? Is it good for those around you? Is it good? Is it a good change? Is it a positive change? Is it going to have positive ramifications and positive influences as the ripple effects of this change spread out? In terms of personal change, it's something that you need to evaluate. In terms of helping a business change their process, well, is it good for the business? Is it going to improve bottom line? Is it going to improve efficiency? Is it going to reduce overhead? Is it going to improve productivity? Is it going to improve customer relations and employee retention and employee morale and attitudes? Is it good for their customers and the change that you're making? All these things you have to think in terms of ecological impact, because if the ecological impact is in fact good for the business, for the company, for their customers, and the customers that those customers serve, and for the world, etc., the change that you're making has a better chance of sticking in the long term. In terms of context, think about, how does this change serve you better? What effects might it have on others? What tools or resources do you need to make the change? This is a real big one when it comes to personal change. A lot of times we can't do it just on our own. We need outside influences. We need outside tools. You think of someone who wants to give up smoking. Well, they might need gum. They might need a patch. They might need to change their environment and get rid of their ashtrays. They might need to change their habits of going out and drinking and then having a cigarette afterwards. They might need to substitute gum. So what resources or people are necessary to make the change? You're thinking in terms of making a sale to a company, a sale to an individual. Is there service that has to follow up to make that change and that context of that change stick? Sometimes we sell something and then we just forget about the client. And then a year later, they look at their book and they say, what did I spend all this money for? And they cancel. When regular monthly or weekly or whatever service calls and contact and touching base with that client would retain them for the long term. So think in terms of context and what resources do you need, not only to make the change, but to keep the change in place. And what have you done in the past that's similar? Think about that. Whatever changes you want to make right now, chances are good you did something similar. If you're an adult, and we all are at this point, you've done something similar in the past. You have resources that you took time at some point where maybe you didn't think you would be able to get through the change, but you dug down, you found the resource, and you made it. And you made the change, and you lived through it, and everything worked out. Okay? So when it comes time to change in behavior again, can you do that now? Can you stop and think back to what have I done that's similar to this, where maybe I didn't think I'd be able to make it through this change, but I did. I dug down, I found the resources, and I made it. And I assembled the people or the products or the services or whatever around me, and I gathered all the resources so that I could do it. If you're looking to make a change now, chances are good you could do that again. So think about that. What have you done that's similar? This whole idea of change being good is not new. Rotary International, I love their 4-way test. Before speaking, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? This is a context and ecological challenge with those 4 questions. So there's nothing new here under the sun. This is just another way of looking at it. So as you think in terms of changing, are you changing for you or are you changing for someone else? Is your plan to change yours, or are you following someone else's lead and feeling pressured or rushed? Because when it's your plan and it's your concept and it's your desire, and you start thinking about how you'll be in the future having made these changes now, you have a much higher degree of success of actually making that change. Have you focused enough on the benefits of the change and that you're moving towards, or are you still thinking about what you don't want your present situation to be? Okay, so these are different stages that you'll go through when you actually go to make a change. At the beginning, we're thinking more about the problem and what the problem has caused us and done to us. And as we start to move towards actually making the change, it sort of flips and we start thinking about the future of being different and the benefits. Think in terms of sales once again. How could you apply that simple little mindset shift in a selling situation and have the prospect thinking about the benefits of owning that product or service so that they're going to get better results and context, and it's going to be more ecological for them, their company, etc., further down the line. So when you do make the change, is it good for your family, your business, your associates, your friends, or is the change purely self-serving? And again, thinking in terms of sales. Is it good for that company and all their customers, or is it just good for the bottom line of that company? How does this apply in the sales situation? Okay, does the change make sense? Are there past experiences that you can actually identify with the prospect through intelligent questions that they have faced this challenge before or a similar challenge before? They've done their research, they made the change, they put the resources in place, and everything worked out well for them. Any company that's been in business for a period of time has made changes. Any company that's been in business for a period of time has met with salespeople that are selling a service or a product or something that's going to help that company move forward. So ask intelligent questions of your prospects, ask intelligent probing questions, and tap into the resources that they've used before so that they can feel that emotion of having made that successful decision and it's been a good payoff for their business. For more information, as always, on NLP, communication, influence, persuasion, and business and sales, see my website at georgegillis.com. You can reach me at george@georgegillis.com or call me at 602-527-0142. So thanks again for your interest and attention. Hope you found this information valuable, and we'll see you next time.